Lights, camera, action.
In a studio where local filmmakers talk to other filmmakers about the inside world of film.
Cut.
That's not the script. It. We'll fix it in post. Do you wonder how films are produced and what really goes on behind the scenes? Well, stand by. Filmmakers Kevin Mumphrey, Victoria V.A. Jones, and Carson Hype Ferguson explain all the details. Right here on It, We Will Fix It in Post podcast.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whenever you're listening or watching, I thank you for doing so. I am Kevin Mumphrey, and this is Fuck It, We'll Fix It in Post. I'm here with my colleagues, Victoria V.A. Jones.
What's going on?
And Carson Hype Ferguson. What is that?
I wasn't even paying attention, to be honest with you.
Okay, today we have a guest out of the Atlanta area who is, well, filmmaker, playwright, writer, producer, director, author. You do everything, apparently.
Whole lot of stuff.
So we have Deonte Bolden here with us. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. So I'm going to start this off with, what don't you do?
I don't sing.
Gotcha. Me
But I bet that's on the list, right? For you, you probably got some lessons going on where you probably gonna start singing in one of your plays.
Maybe a note or two.
Everybody needs a good hummer in the background.
I could do that real well.
Hey, I'm right there with you. So where did your love of the arts begin?
It was inspired by losing my brother. I lost my brother in 2006.
My condolences.
Thank you. And it was a coping mechanism for me. I had got depressed. I had contemplated suicide. And, it was the gift of writing that was suggested to me to really express myself. And writing notes to my brother and writing notes to myself turned into me creating these dynamic characters and writing something that can inspire other people. When you see people are inspired by what you do, you start to realize that that's probably the calling and that's where you need to be. So that turned into writing plays and books and films and musicals and all that other stuff. My brother is definitely a great inspiration, just losing him. Just having him in my life, period, because he was part of the special needs community. So I just feel like writing is an outlet to express myself and to bring a positive message to the world.
Now, you talked about writing has been a healing mechanism for you. You could kind of elaborate for like others who they'll go through situations such as you. Like, how was writing healing for you?
Because you're able to hide behind characters sometimes, like even with playwriting, putting yourself into the characters. It's like a mirror sometimes because you can only write what you know and what you've experienced. So sometimes instead of a person saying it out loud, they're able to put it on paper or write on a laptop and express themselves. And it happens, you got people like Tyler Perry and other people who have expressed that as well. And you hide yourself inside the characters because sometimes we're not really at the place where we want to just come out about what bothered us or what was going on, but we were able to put it in characters and you're still able to go through the process, if that makes sense.
So has writing been a way of almost like helping you almost understand yourself better or even help you as a communicator?
Yeah, writing has helped me to understand myself better, understand the different sides of Deonte, because a lot of times when people will come to plays, they was like, well, where did you get that from? Because one character is just outrageous. And I'm like, well, that is a part of me, that is a part of, my other side, when I get angry, or you start to see yourself in different characters and realize, oh, well, maybe I need to change just a little bit because I'm just like this character, and seeing people's reactions. So, yeah, I think it really makes you look within.
Now, how old were you when you started writing?
I started writing around 16.
16. So you remember like were you writing like just like maybe stories or like maybe books or like stage plays?
Well, my first big project was a stage play. Before then, I was writing a lot of letters to myself and I was journaling, just keeping up with my feelings and, the process of going through healing. And then I started, realizing I started thinking of characters and things like that. And I was like, it'd be nice to try this and see how it works. That's when I ended up writing my first play, Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places. I would say, 16, journaling, and then it went to the playwriting.
So talk about that first one that you just mentioned. How did you go about writing that play? Like what sparked it in you to start that play? to write that?
Yeah, so I'm very close to my mom. Shout out to my mom. And my mom has always wanted to, get remarried. My mom and dad divorced when I was 4, but my mom has just been on this single status, and she was, talking about, that she wants to find love and things like that. And it was like a journal, part of my journal of writing to my mom to be able to say, hey, mom, be patient. The right one will come. You're beautiful, but look within and learn how to love yourself, because my mom is also a victim of abuse. As I wrote it, I was like, well, these other characters, I was like, this would be nice to just kind of write it as a place so people could see it as a visual. Characters just started coming to me, and then next thing you know, I had a whole play, and I wasn't serious about it because I was just like, okay, this is just another play I put out there. But then when I had people read it, everybody was like, yeah, you got to put this on. So 29 was when I decided to put on my first play, and it sold out 3 shows, and people are still talking about it to this day.
So when you go and you find your actors for your plays, how do you go about finding those correct and right actors to portray these parts?
Well, I start with a casting call. I put out a notice all over social media. I also do Actors Access, where I post the casting on there, and then people just submit. I have an eye for what I'm looking for even before I even go into the casting process. And sometimes I, kind of tweak it a little bit because I might have an actor that may not fit the description of what I want. But yeah, I just, the audition, send the connection between me and the actor, because that's important, because you got to direct people. Everybody out here ain't so nice, and some people have great talent, but the personality is a so that's just like an X for me. I'd rather work with the actor that needs a little bit more training and is willing to learn and listen than to work with someone who's just completely unprofessional and not on task of what we're doing. So yeah, that's how I do my casting, and it works for me every time.
So with this your first play, and showing this to people, was there kind of 'cause, I mean, you're basically sharing your art with people. Was there a bit of nervousness for like showing it to other people when you first started doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. Even putting on the first play, artists, we're very sensitive about our stuff, right? Like, we're giving you part of us. So when it becomes negative feedback, it does something to us. I don't care what somebody said. Somebody said a while back, it's like, I don't really care anymore, but we do care. We're putting part of ourself out and, to the world. We're being vulnerable and letting you into our world of what we're doing. So it's always a nervousness. Even now, when I did the musical, which is my second production, I was very nervous because I didn't know if people would accept the fact that I'm writing about differently able community. I had a lot of backlash with that as well. Some people from the differently able community attacked me on social media. It was like, who are you to, write a play, about us, and you're not even there. But I had the experience. Yeah, it always can be a nervous thing, but you learn how to realize that you didn't create this just for you, but you created it for someone else. And when people come back with the feedback and say, I had one guy for the first play that said that he was about to commit suicide, but the play taught him that he had to get back to learning how to love himself and not try to seek, love in someone else as well. So those are the things that keep us going.
That you the second play with the backlash. So like, was it just the backlash came from like basically you writing it, or was it the show in and of itself?
I had just put a casting call on there and was like, hey, I'm looking for this for the musical. And I got a whole thing in my inbox of them. People were like, you're not even a part of the different community. They saw the casting of what I was looking for and saw that I was doing the musical.
So it wasn't even out yet, and you was already catching hell.
Yeah, and I started to part of me was just like, okay, well, maybe I need to leave this alone, because they were like all up on my TikTok, and they were like writing stuff, and it was just, a mess. And it hurt more because it was from the differently able community, because I thought that they would embrace it because, hey, this is something about you all, and not too many plays or productions I've seen that centers around the differently able community. I felt like, sometimes people, when they not used to something, or you're coming out with something new and you're starting a trend, you're always going to get backlash from people because you're doing something different. But yeah, it was a casting call. I hadn't even went through the process of anything. I just wanted to speak to actors.
So when seeing that, like, how close were you to even thinking of just scrapping it all together?
Very close. I had to, I have a good team around me because I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't do it because I don't want to offend anybody. And, everybody was just like, because, it's originally a book that I turned into a musical. So I went back to the comments on the book and people who just really loved what I put together. And it just got me to get myself together and say, hey, if you're going to be out here in this industry, you got to be able to take criticism from anywhere. And not everybody's going to like what you do. And that's fine because it's not meant for everybody. It's meant for who it's meant for. And I just moved forward and we did it two shows. And we're even talking about taking on Broadway. So,
With the way the internet is, though, people gonna talk. And if they ain't talking about you, they talking about somebody else, right?
right. I was the hot topic. So I was like, okay.
So in a sense, it was kind of like promotion for you.
Yeah, and they've helped promote it because it brought more eyes to what I was doing. And there was an individual who was a part of the group that they were in, and they were watching the whole journey of me doing rehearsals and me putting it together. And, I hope that inspired them.
So how long does it my first question is, what is the difference between just a play and doing a musical, right? Because there's two totally it's still theater, but there's two totally different things right there. And what were the challenges for you for doing the musical, and what did you run into?
Well, I started out trying to get singers. That didn't go well because my ears after the auditions, I was like, so we, of course you're adding music to it. So you got to have a music director. You have more people who are involved. You got your director. I was a director. I had an assistant director. Even with musical, you have to have extra practice because they have to learn the music. They got to learn the songs on top of learning the script. Choreography, shout out to Karan Goodrich, who was my choreographer for the musical. And it's just, musical is just more exciting and fun, but there's so many different parts of it that we had to add in. I think a play is more simple because a musical is just a lot because, it's the transition from acting into songs and things like that. It was a great experience, and I learned so much from doing the musical stuff.
So, how many people came in there who could not sing, right? How many people did you get that walked
Almost
into the
every,
audition?
Your
yeah,
eyes are
because you
saying
get
a
the
lot.
you get the people who think they can sing, and it's not a gift. I think 20 people. So what happened is part of the process was that we had them kind of lip sync a little bit more because the actors that I did like couldn't sing. It was only one actor who I felt like she could sing. We had a song called I'm Not a Monster. So we ended up going from being creative to, okay, let's just have them lip sync because we didn't want to burn anybody's ears at the show.
Right.
They're great songs. And I wrote all the songs. So I was like, yeah, we don't want to do that. So yeah, I am looking forward when I do this again to have actual singers, but it didn't take away from, the play itself. It turned out to be amazing.
So I'm sorry, the people who thought they can sing.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining these auditions and they come in with that singer confidence and then they start singing like by so I'm guessing you kind of judge on like maybe like 5 to 10 seconds, like, this ain't it.
Yeah,
This
because one girl came in and she said, I was like, I always ask them when they say they're singers. I'm like, okay, like, who do you sound like? And when, you sing, who's your inspiration? It's like, yeah, I'm a mixture. She was like, I'm a mixture between Whitney and Mariah. I was like, oh, okay.
Now
I
you
ain't see
know.
Whitney and Mariah. I was like, yeah, it's definitely not Mariah or Whitney.
Now you know them people who come in and say that right there. You know for a fact, yeah, we ain't gonna choose you.
I'm
I
like,
just imagine. I just imagine like somebody coming in with that Jennifer Hudson energy without
Yeah.
the ability to sing like her.
They
I had
sound more.
that too.
They sound more like Bo Jackson.
Yeah. And I can't listen to The Greatest Love of All. I think that was the song that a lot of singing. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to pause on that, Whitney, because it was just, yeah, it was bad.
Sorry, Whit not. But you can be a great extra.
Yeah, so I had to judge based on acting. I was like, yeah, the music part is not, that could be difficult because finding a good singer and an actor, that takes a lot of work.
Now, so musicals is like, what even made you want to write a musical?
I felt like Differently Able needed to be beyond, the message is beyond the pages. I just really felt strong about it. And I was like going through my book one day and I was talking to someone on I think, well, social media. And we connected, and he was like, you ever thought about writing a musical? Because I was like, I want to do another play. I was like, but I don't know what I want to do because I had another script in front of me. He was like, you ever thought about turning that amazing book into a musical? And it just sat with me, for a long time. And I was like, yeah, this message is not just meant to just be a book, a musical. I have a vision of seeing it on stage and people from the differently able community coming in and just being inspired and say, hey, I see myself, you know, that's me, I just want to, that just keeps me going. And I was like, yeah, this definitely needs to be a musical and something that needs to turn into something, has the ability to turn into something huge, and I'm very passionate about that, even with the songs and stuff like that. So I just started creating music. Next thing you know, the songs came to me. We got a main song called Short Bus, because a lot of times kids like to make fun of the short bus that comes through, they call it a handicap bus.
Yeah.
We made it cool again by just doing a song and just seeing the kids who came to the musical get on social media and singing the song Short Bus because our soundtrack is on Spotify and iTunes. It just shows that we're making a big impact.
So you have soundtrack and everything. This is just for stage plays.
Yeah, I wrote the soundtrack. I collaborated with Isaac J. Music. I said if I was going to do the musical, I wanted to personally write the songs. At first, I was going to hire someone to do it, but I was like, I have songs in my head that I feel like really go with this musical. And my job is just very boring, so I was just writing music on my job and putting it together. And next thing you know, I think we have 10 songs that we have for the soundtrack, and it's on iTunes under Differently Able to Musicals.
So you write books, you write songs, you write plays, you write films. That's a track record right there. I gotta tell you.
I didn't
So a
even know
lot
I
of
could
writing.
write music, but I was just like, this Differently Able is so personal to me. And there was just certain songs and topics I wanted to make sure we had, you know, music, that wraps around that. So yeah, it's a lot. What is Pretty is one of our songs. I'm Not a Monster, Bully Me Not, those different things. So yeah, I didn't even know. I just discovered when I did this musical that I could write music. I was like, thank you, Jesus.
So I mean, you do all these things, and I mean, I think it's smart of you to kind of build your own kind of production company out of everything what you do. What kind of made you kind of even think in that direction?
I started out as an actor. I was in LA. I moved to LA. I was out there mostly an actor. I started getting into writing a lot more when I had moved and graduated. But I just got tired of always, waiting for opportunities. I started as an actor like everybody. I'm gonna move to Hollywood. I'm gonna be this Hollywood star. I'm gonna be the next Denzel. And then when you get out there, you realize it's not as easy as you think it is because everybody's trying to do what you're doing. And I just got to a point one day where I was just like, I'm not gonna allow people to give me the green light for what I want to do. I'm going to give myself the green light and create, along with auditioning for other people's stuff and doing things. I can still build my own production company and still be seen. And I think it's a lot of respect when you are just building your own because people see you not waiting for that yes, but you're creating that yes for yourself. So part of me starting my production company was just really, I got a lot of creativity in me and I got to express it somehow, some way. So that's what made me start Deonte Bolden Productions and the Bolden brand.
You're just way too creative to be condensed into just being an actor.
Yeah, I got frustrated because I was just put into this like little box, and I'm like, no, y'all, like I'm not in this box. There's so much more to what I do, and there's so much that God has given me that I want to put out for the world. So I just been concentrating on building that, and yeah, it's been working.
And sometimes you gotta make your own lane. You gotta open your own doors and you know, plow through them. Cause like you said, they're gonna put you in a box. They're gonna assume that, oh, this is the only thing you can do. So they've done that to me. So I just made my own way, my own
That's
lane.
it, black creatives, because I know you get it a lot. You're gonna be the next Tyler Perry. I'm like, I'm not trying to be Tyler Perry. I want to, get in my own lane and do my own thing. And I think that's what makes us all entertaining because we have our own individual things that we do. I was inspired by you when I saw you at the award show, and your film and creativity. So yeah.
Yeah. And these, tell these guys I thank them because they be acting like I don't thank them. I thank y'all when I said my speech. Y'all were in my little video too.
I remember not saying thinking it, but okay.
Uh-oh.
I mean, look, You try to give me stuff all the time, and I try to be humble. And I was like, and you be like, no, 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 and I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Like, I mean, seriously, like, hey, we on a mission.
I'm told my head is too big to be thanked too much, so I'll move on from
Just a little bit. Anyway,
that. So in your time in LA, because you're such a creator, I just imagine you will audition for certain roles and you would read scripts and you ever have read and go, I could have wrote this better, or this doesn't make sense, or I could have did it this way.
Yeah, I do that a lot as a creative. I'll say, "Oh, if I did this, if I was doing this, I would have did this better." Or, I would look at a script and be like, "Yeah, this isn't good at all." You know, sometimes you just sit on auditions because you fit a character and you get to read like the little synopsis of it, and then when you get to the script, I realize there's a lot of I'm gonna just say it, a lot of crap being put out there. It's
Yeah, be
just
honest. Go ahead.
yeah, it's a
Speak
lot
your
of
truth.
stuff. And even, stuff that made like, networks and stuff. And I'm like, what is this? And I want to be the ones to get back to making something that actually makes sense and has a great message to it. But I've auditioned for stuff and I was just trying to get work and build my resume. And I was like, why am I on this? Or why am I doing it? There's certain short films I'm like, I wish they would just take that down because it was horrible. Yeah, you get that. I feel like everybody doesn't have the gift of writing, but some people just are experiencing. I think writing just has to be a gift that's given to you, because some stuff I'm like, yeah, you could have kept that in your brain.
Now, how long were you in LA?
I was in LA for 5 years.
But like, and because I've heard like different experiences from people actors that have been out there. They loved it. Some felt that it was a bit overwhelming. I think
Mm.
they say I've heard people say it would take like 6 months to a year when you first move out there to get used to the scene in the area. Was that the same for you?
Yeah, it was a cultural shock because there's a lot of a lot of things going on out there. Different cultural backgrounds, and it's just like a melting pot out there. For me, I enjoyed the experience, but in the entertainment, like I said, it just felt like overwhelming. Everybody is very competitive. LA is very hard to kind of make friends out there because so many people are superficial and it's like what they can get from you. But you're also their competition and just it was a lot. But I mean, I really enjoyed the experience. The weather was beautiful. I missed the beaches, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's definitely it can be a culture shock out there when you go.
So what was the point that made you had to say to yourself that I can't be here no more and I got to go somewhere else?
Well, my grandmother, my grandmother passed last year. She was going through early stages of Alzheimer's, and I really wanted to just kind of be here near her, and I wanted to experience, somewhere else new. I just felt like even when I was there, I was kind of stifled a little bit, and I just really had to take a reflection of my career and what I wanted to do. And I was like, well, maybe I need to move to somewhere different. Where's somewhere that I can still do my entertainment and still be near my grandmother? So I decided to move to Atlanta, Georgia. And it was like, yeah, it's time for a change. And ever since I've been in Atlanta, I feel like things have been moving up for me.
So what is Atlanta giving you that you couldn't get from Los Angeles?
A little bit of country and then a little bit, it made me feel like home, but also entertainment. Like, I feel like when I want to be in entertainment, I'll go downtown or go wherever, but I can come back to Marietta and it still feel like, home for me. So, yeah, I feel like Atlanta is just, and then Atlanta is just a great place for Black entertainment. And I want to kind of be in that. I feel like I could kind of network more here because it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. So, I'm loving Atlanta so far.
So like, how long you been out in Atlanta?
I've been out here for, let's see, you got me count, 8 years. It'll be 8 years this year.
You almost at the 10 mark.
Almost. I can't believe it myself.
So with you having a production company and everything. So at what point did you start having to kind of learn the business aspect of the entertainment industry?
Right away, contracts, things like that. I used to be the type of person to be like, oh, it's a word of mouth. You my friend. We're going to do this thing. I learned quickly because I've been bamboozled a lot. People try to profit off of your gift. And I learned very quickly, LA taught me some things. So when I came to Atlanta, I was like, I'm on it, but I did learn some stuff here as well. But the business aspect of it and understanding the importance of contracts and, making sure that, the business aspect is, making sense and people come in and the professionalism. I've definitely been on that because I said, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to make sure I do it right. But yeah, that was the biggest thing for me learning because I'm such a nice person. I have a good heart. I like helping people and people try to take advantage of that. And it's like, no, God didn't give me this gift to just waste or be used, we're going to get this in black and white before we even start the process.
Yeah, we've ran into those more than once. So definitely understand that. And I've gotten to the point where I'm just gonna be like, yeah, it's a no for me. So it might be harsh, but at the same time, this is still a business. So you have to come in with the business standpoint and let people understand that I'm a good person, but at the same time, you can't play with me type deal. So
And
then,
people are good. When people are good with you, they good with you. But then when they're not good with you, then they turn into this monster. Like even with my podcast, I have people sign like an NDA or an agreement that just says that everything that you say and everything that you commit to as you come on this podcast is good. Because sometimes people be like, "Oh, now you got to take that down. I don't want this shown." I had a friend who did a whole short film. And then him and then the lead actor fell out, and the lead actor made him take the whole film down. It was like, I'm a sue and all this stuff. And it was just crazy. So I said to myself, learning from other people's experiences, contracts.
yeah.
So the version of you could take the version of yourself today and talk to the person who was just starting in the industry. What would be the first thing you would tell yourself to look out for?
To look out for snakes. Snakes, there's a lot of snakes out here, people who pretend to be your friend, pretend to be close to you and, will stab you in the back. Be aware of people who are in your corner. I used to think that everybody was my friend. And I had to realize like everybody that's rowing in your boat ain't rowing with you. They drilling holes in the back trying to get you to sink. So that was the biggest thing, that I've learned, be aware of snakes. So now I have a small circle and I'm conscientious of people who will try to come into the circle as well. So that's what I would tell the old me.
That people don't understand that. They don't get that.
Well, you get burnt once or twice, you gonna get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm just like us. Well, like me, I have a small circle. I work with the same people. You know what I'm saying? But other people who like to try to join in and be like, hey, let me come in and do this and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. That's not gonna happen.
Trying to ride the wave. What's up?
Ride the wave. That's it right there. Ride your coattails. That's it
I
right there.
call them because they try to leech on to you or connect with the people you connect with, and they try to find some way to get into the circle. And it's such like a snake move. Like,
Oh my goodness, that sounds so familiar. Kevin, don't that sound familiar?
So moving on.
Why are you laughing like that?
I have different laughs. What I want to because you've done stage plays, you've done books. What made you transition from the stage to wanting to put your works on film?
It was just time. I was trying to attempt to The Skin I'm In, Volume 1, Melanin Melanie. My first short film, I was trying to make that a stage play because I thought I would just stay in the stage play mode, And God is always like challenging me to, do different things. And I had a friend of mine who was like, no, this needs to be a play. Like I can actually see this as a series. So I just decided, when I picked up the script around COVID, I was like, I really want to put this out here in the message because it deals with colorism. And I thought I was going to do stage, but then I ended up running into a filmmaker, Randy Williams, who was the DP for it. And he was like, yeah, like, let's try to do this in film. And, film is a little bit more, I would say, laid back than stage productions because you get to get to location, you get there, you film, and you just take your time. There's no audience. So I really wanted to see this on the big screen, and I really wanted to cross over to, doing my own film because I was really passionate about, creating a film that I could see on, a network. So yeah, that was really, really exciting for me. And we had a great time.
So, like with stage plays, you can kind of get the immediate reaction to your work. You can see it in real time. Whereas with film, you're making it, you're reshooting it, and you kind of have that little, you don't get that immediate reaction from it. So, was it kind of an adjustment for you when it comes to that, or like did you kind of adjust rather well to it?
Yeah, because with stage plays, it's like they're gonna tell you if it's funny, like you get the live action of the audience. For the film, it was great, but it was even more rewarding and still is because it's been in film festivals and the reactions from people that are just like rewarding. You get that later on because this, the skin I'm in that I did, it had a really deep topic to it. And there was a lot of racial slurs that was, brought, forth. And then just like Melanie as the main character itself. So I was really excited when I put it in film festivals to to finally get those reactions. But when the cast is also telling you that the script is good and how passionate they are and committing themselves, that's rewarding as well, because if you got a good cast that really want to roll with you and put in the work, it's going to make the film even more great.
Now, were you using your same cast and your stage plays as your films?
Pulled one or two, but there wasn't, yeah, about one or two of the actors. Karen, I pulled her from my stage play, and it was someone else. Forgive me. But yeah, I was able to pull. I like using, I love what she said because it's like, when you find solid people and you know they're in your corner,
Mhm.
you use them. And one of the main actors, I actually met her from an acting class that I took. And I was like, if I ever do something, I'm going to make sure I bring her in. And she came in and killed the leading roles.
Now, and
My eyes is always looking.
yeah, so I bring it up because there's a kind of difference in acting for stage than it is for film. So when you're like directing your film project, are you kind of having to like adjust kind of how you direct your actors when you're doing film as opposed to stage?
Yeah. And working with people, I immediately know if I would ever work with them again or if I would. Because some people want to come back or they want to audition again. I'm like, nah, I'm good. And I love giving new actors and new faces the opportunity. I think that's the beauty of what I do. I always say I like to allow the unseen to be seen. There's a lot of great actors and people who are passionate about out here, but they just haven't gotten the opportunity. So yeah, I'm one of those people.
I'm the same way. So what is it about working with new actors? Like what is it for me, I am able to help them through their craft. So that's kind of how I work and how I'm makes me a better director, like expressing myself, like expressing the setup and everything else. So what is it for you, especially with stage plays, to working with somebody new or somebody who never done a stage play before?
Yeah, the passion, a lot of times there's people who are just passionate, but they just haven't gotten the opportunity and they get excited. I've seen both sides, the passionate new actor that may not have the confidence, but I can help to boost the confidence a little bit. And kind of coach them through the process. And I've seen that honestly, even through a musical, people just blossom into great actors. And then people at the end of the show are like, oh, that actor was great. But then I remember when that person was stiff and I had to get them to move around and do this. And I love that versus that actor that thinks that they are Denzel or they think they're Angela Bassett. And I'm like, no, you ain't there yet. We all are trying to get to that level. And even then, I just feel like I'm always that person that just want to bring that one in that's out in the cold and bring them in, into my world and help them because I just think that's part of my gift of what I do, and that's why the Bolden experience has just been a great experience for people.
So now with dealing with new actors, how important would you say is patience for you as a director and filmmaker when dealing with new actors?
Lots of patience, lots of patience. I mean, there is that one instance where I just had to let an actor go because she just wasn't getting it. And had to do it in a respectful way because it just inside they study, they didn't know lines. Like you got to help yourself. So I can be able to help you. And I'm very passionate as a director. Know your lines. I can help work with all the other stuff, but if you don't know your character, know the lines, and know the script itself, then there's very little I can do. So for me, new actors is just a lot of patience, because sometimes you get people who haven't been in that world and they don't understand that you got to turn so your back is not towards the audience and just those little things that you have to kind of, help them with. Yeah, it takes a lot of patience.
So I imagine like that, the back turned and you all have like rehearsals and stuff to kind of you can nip those things in the bud. So when you're like on a film set, are you almost having to like take time out to like, okay, this is how blocking works. I need you here to here. Like, before you shoot? Like, how do you kind of navigate that?
Yeah, I do rehearsals even for film because some people be like, "Oh, I'm gonna just show up that day and then just do it." It's like, no, to eliminate because film it takes money and time. Like we don't have
Yep.
time to coach you throughout the whole day on how to
Right.
act. So for me, when I find an actor and I know that they need a little bit more guidance, let's have rehearsals up until shoot date and let's work it out and let's meet, let's have coffee and, go somewhere and rehearse. So that's how we did even with Differently Able. We rehearsed, because like I said, when it's time to shoot, like it's already a long day, so we don't want to be going through the scene with you 10, 11 times and doing shoots. So we just, we learn. And then if it's changes that's on set, then we make patience and time for that because things happen on set as well.
Yes, they do.
So with everything else you do, you have an award show?
Yes, the Bolden Awards.
Yeah. What?
You have a lot going on. Like, how do you
Yeah,
have time to well, I don't sleep neither, but how do you have time to sleep?
I slept today. Yeah, the Bolden Awards. Definitely something I felt like that needed to be done. We're in entertainment, and a lot of times, we're nominated for awards or we are awarded in certain places. And notice that sometimes when we go to those type of events, I start not to like going because there's so much uppity people and people who think that they're better, and it's just that Hollywood type of thing. And I wanted to just create an atmosphere that was just different, where we actually can celebrate the unseen and allow them to be seen. I'm very passionate about the differently able community, but I'm more passionate about people's stories of overcoming. And it's the award show that's, about award and honor and those who've overcome obstacles and adversities while achieving excellence. So not only are we awarding you for the great things that you do, but also the story behind what you do to get to where you are now. And we did it in 2023. It was packed. People, are still talking about it to this day, and we are gearing up to do it in less than 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
May the 23rd, we're going to be doing it here in Atlanta. And it's going to be like a Nigerian type of theme because we wanted to switch it up a little bit from last time. And it's just incredible. I love the experience. I love the process. It's a lot, put into a award show, but it's rewarding when people get awarded that night and are celebrated for their boldness. So where boldness meets greatness.
So again, you said it and a process and a lot. So kind of expand on that. Like, what all goes into putting the Bolden Awards together?
I'm having a solid team, people who believe in the vision with you, uh, understanding the theme of where you want to go and why people should come, getting the honorees together, which has gave me a couple of gray hairs because dealing with people sometimes and different personalities and how people approach things. Sometimes it could be very overwhelming. And just putting it together in itself, it's a lot of work, but it's rewarding when you have great people on your side. And my team, will shout out to the Bolden Committee. It's a lot of time consuming because I got to get on and do meetings. I got to meet with the, honorees, make sure everybody's good. Everybody got to be on the same page. Then we got to do rehearsals. So it's a lot because you got to rehearse for award show too, because I look at it as a production. So people need to know how to get up on stage and how to get off. We're just doing it all over here, but it's going to be exciting and looking forward to those who are going to come out and experience it. And if you ain't there, I'm going to feel sorry for you. It's going to be great. We got some great performances, speakers,
So how long does it take to put all of this together?
the award show.
Yes.
I started the process for this one in February of last year. So I would say almost a year because there's so much preparation that goes behind it. People just think that when they come to the award show, oh, this is great. You put on an award show. But it's like, it took a lot of preparation. Like I was on calls and I was putting this together and the vision way before, almost a year before we're actually putting it on now. So, yeah.
I think it's amazing that it takes practically a year to set
Mhm.
up one night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Now, are you streaming this or is it being
We're going to record it. There probably will be some people getting on social media to do it, but we are actually recording it because we want to use it for promotional purposes for when we do it the next time.
okay? So so y'all shooting it. So I'm guessing like you rehearsed the shooting, you kind of like camera angles and all that. So how long it took for you all to kind of navigate and work that?
About the same time, because I actually have a guy, innovative ATO. He's going to be my camera guy. So most of his work is going to be done as we do the rehearsals closer to the show so he can kind of know this is what's going to happen. But we discussed it and we kind of sat down and went through how everything would be, for him. So it could be easy for him. So he knows where he needs to be at whatever time of the shoot on the award show day. So it took, I would say me and him have been working together for relatively about 6 months.
So, and with shows like this, I'm guessing like it's not necessarily scripted, but you kind of have an outline because there's not much for something like this you want to leave to chance.
Right. And that's the important thing because, like I said, people look at it as, oh, yeah, you about to do an award show. That's just going to be a couple of days and then you do the award show. It's preparation, you have to, like we have, like even with my host, they have a cue cards, like a script so they can know where they're going to be, where we are in the award show and who's coming up next. You got to make sure that the presenters know when they're going to be coming up on the award show. You got people on the side that you got to hand the awards to so they can hand it to this person. So it's just a little minor detail. So it's not something that you just get up and do. And that's why it's so beautiful when people were commenting because, they were like, it just was so structured and organized. And yeah, things are going to happen because I had a couple people who didn't show up to rehearsal and they were going on the wrong side of the stage. So you get that. You got to always prepare for that. And I was like, if I used to been in rehearsal, overall, it flows when when you're organized and you really have, and it shows the passion behind what you do. Because sometimes people put on award shows in Atlanta and it's just like, you just think of this like 2 hours ago. But people could tell when you put like detail into what you do and you're passionate because they come and they have an experience. So I want people to have an experience, not just say they went to an award show, but leave feeling like they were part of an experience.
Now you said so, 'cause somebody told me this a while ago. Like, yeah, so like these live events, they're not so random. If it were random, you would tell they were random because it would look horrible. If it was incredibly random and left to chance, it would look like a mess. So I could appreciate the structure. Now, and I'm guessing you also structured this for time's sake because you kind of wanted as concise to a time frame in which you have as possible.
Yes. So yeah, I just got off the call yesterday with my honorees and we have time limits on things like, your speech is 2 minutes. And we love you, but we want you to, say what you gotta say, thank mama, daddy, your baby daddy or whatever, and get off the stage because sometimes, people want to go on and we want to stay on a time track, because people get bored quickly. If you're just up there rambling for 15 minutes because you got an award and people are like, I'm hungry. What's going on? What's on TikTok? And I want to keep your attention. So we have time structures for performances, speakers. We're very strategic on time, on starting on time, because I don't believe in CP time. I believe you say you start at 6 o'clock, you need to start at 6 o'clock. I need to see somebody on the stage, doing something. And just all of that, I take that in consideration because I know what it's like to go in an event and it just seemed like it's just not well thrown together, things like that. And I love my mom, but I said, Mom, if you come to the award show late, you're just going to miss the first half. I had someone who was waiting for their mom to get to the show before they start, and the mom was like an hour late. So, yeah, it's just those things. Can I say I was pissed? I was like, I got other stuff to do. Yeah, he was like, I'm not going to start until my mama get in the seat. And I'm like, and I already warned mom. I said, Mom, I'm going to be doing a lot of things, and I love you. You get front row seat, but I will start without you.
So you gonna play the honorees go over, you gonna play the music? Like
Yeah, we
style?
have we're gonna have like a little Nigerian music, okay, I dance off the stage. And my Shalicia, who's my stage manager, she's very good with that, so I don't even have to worry about that because she's gonna be like, bless your heart, okay, get your award, let's go.
I like the idea of Nigerian music playing while they're speaking. Oh, okay, it's time for me to go. Okay, yeah, I can go and dance on up out of here.
I don't think they're gonna be dancing on some people might just talk over the music, what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, we'll be up there, thank you, turn the mic off.
The music go up, then the mic get lower, and then it go off.
It's time to go.
I just see him coming up to the stage. All right, bro. Hey, thank you. Yeah, we got a next one. Come on up. Thank you. You can go and get on off now. That was such and such.
Yeah, you got to keep it moving.
I said 2 minutes.
I tell them to practice their speeches so it helps, so it helps the flow. You know what I mean?
So, like, you're basically a ball of creativity. So, with everything you do, is it any other endeavors you are wanting to try?
I don't know. I mean, I'm very into painting, but I don't know. I'm not good at drawing.
You
That's something.
you say that, but I'm pretty sure you could probably sell some of that stuff you done painted or drew for a good chunk of money.
Maybe, I do stick figures. But yeah, that's one thing. I did say I wanted to do podcasts, and I ended up starting that last year, the Bolden Experience podcast. We're on hiatus right now because I'm focused on the award show. But yeah, I want to get more into like hosting, and podcasts, and kind of take off with that and see how that goes. I've been inspired by even the first few episodes that we've done. So yeah, I think I just want to explore that a little bit more.
Yeah, keep going is what I can say. Yeah. You figure out the rough parts while you're doing it. So
Yeah,
that's how we got to where we are.
yeah, it's challenging because you got to keep up with people, make sure people are on their cues and showing up and all that stuff. But it's been a great journey. I've had my own experiences with it, but it's fun overall.
I tell you what, you must have some patience because dealing with that many people and trying to keep them organized, it's like cats on leashes.
I'm trying to be
Yeah,
like, once this show is over with, do you give yourself like maybe a few days break or take a vacation or is something to just I don't know woo-saw or something?
already planning a vacation. Yeah. And on top of that, it's my birthday week that the show is doing. So yeah, I have to reward myself. But yeah, I definitely do. I already plan like to take some, time off months. Sometimes I can't take too long because then I start getting creative again in my head. But I got to learn how to turn it off. But yeah, I'm definitely, that's probably like the biggest thing I'm going to be doing this year. I'm moving into, the next year because you got to give yourself a mental break. Yeah, we're creative. But sometimes we got to know how to step back from the creativity, rest, and be inspired again on what the next move will be. So definitely in the cards.
So do you like when you're planning this show and everything, are you working on like film or even a stage project as well while you're doing it, or are you specifically focus on the award show at that time?
As far as executing it, only one thing at a time because I feel like you have to give, your undivided attention to what you're doing because there's a lot of people out here who want to do multiple things and they don't do it great. So for me, like the Bolden Awards is like my focus. Sometimes I do get inspiration and start thinking about an idea or a concept or a script and I'll write it down. But I don't really get into it until I'm finished with what it is I'm supposed to be doing, and executing that well. So that's how I operate. I try not to do multiple things at the same time.
So when you're working on a show and you kind of have an idea, do you almost like fear like, oh, I got to write this down or something, or as Michael Jackson said, God may give the ideas to Prince or something like that?
Yeah, I definitely. I use my phone and my notes because a lot of times the idea will come, and then if you wait too long to write it down, you forget what it was. And I've had my moments where I had good stuff in my head, and then I was trying to do something else, and I didn't really write it down. And then I got mad because I got home, and I was like, "Shoot!" I was like, "What was that idea?" And I try to like pull it back up in my head, and it doesn't. So I always tell people, even writers, as I work, I'm using it to workshops and helping other creatives. I let them know, like, write it down, like, right there. You can always come back to it, but at least you still have the idea there and you can work and navigate from that.
So you do workshops as well.
Yeah, we got an actual workshop that's attached to the award show. So on the 21st, leading up to the award show, I have a Bolding Your Story workshop where I'm actually teaching creatives how to build their brands from their stories. Like I built my whole brand based off the fact that I lost my brother. So other people are inspired by that. So I was like, let me do a workshop where I got a few people who I can help, because some people know what they want to do, but they just don't know how to navigate and how to actually build from it. And that's what we're going to learn at the workshop.
Now, you mentioned building a brand, and it's probably for people who get into this industry. It's now I know actors think about like their personal brands, but as far as a brand in and of itself, they may not even. It's not probably in the forefront of a person's mind. So with building the Bolden brand, like how important is branding to you?
Branding is very important, because now you're in ownership, of what you do. For me, it's like I have so many different things I can pick from, to be able to share a story or based on how I'm feeling. And a brand is just really, you building from that, doing multiple different things. I always tell people, don't just settle for one thing that you do. Figure out other things and gifts and talents that you have, and then just kind of work them together and figuring out how to, monetize from them. Yeah, I'm an actor, but I'm also an author. I can sell books. I'm also a business person. I get ticket sales from the awards show and sponsorships. So those are different things that I have created and to surround myself with so I can be able to monetize, hopefully leave my 9-to-5 job. And then just, use that and have ownership. You know what I mean? That's important.
Now, go ahead. No, you're good. Go ahead.
So what is your ultimate goal?
My ultimate goal is to live a life that I can enjoy, and do. I really want to do what I do full time and make money and build off of that, build generational wealth for myself, and just be at peace and continue to create. Creating is, if I could do this all day, I would.
Now, one thing I've kind of noticed from you is like your family seems to have been a great inspiration for your writing, for your brand, for your company. Kind of like emphasize on how important is family for you and to your art.
Family is very important to me. I've gotten to the point now where, I realize that sometimes family can also be people in your life that try to hold you back. I'm just very, me and my mom are very close. My mom I call her Mama Bear because she's just everything to me. But family is definitely important and definitely an inspiration for what I do. When my grandmother passed, last year, that was definitely a devastating thing for me as well. But family is definitely something, I'm into also creating my own family one day as well and continuing to pass on the legacy of the Bolden legacy. So for me, it's a little bit of both, because I think sometimes family see you for who you were and not for who you are, and who you're becoming. So for me, it's just, you got to distance yourself from those type of people, but still love the ones, still love all of them, but keep certain people in your circle. And my mom is just very supportive of everything I do.
Or at a distance, keep keep certain family members at a distance.
Yes.
Because
I've learned.
it ain't easy. And they some
But if
people
they're
think you
not,
got it better than, they be trying to put they foot in where it don't need to be. So
yeah. And if they're not beneficial to where you're going, you got to learn how to love them from a distance. I love you, text message every now and then, but, I don't have to be close to you, so yeah.
I always say those people can watch me on Facebook or on YouTube. They ain't gotta see me. But I mean, you said like your mother very close. She obviously is supportive of what you do. It's like I was just go for like cut like other family members. Have they been supportive or like how's that been?
I
Thank you for
have
your
maybe
honesty.
when I did my first book, I had like one family member like buy it. But yeah, I think, I have those type of relatives that rather go and spend $500 on Beyonce tickets, but not, come and see like one of my stage productions. We just have that. And I think a lot of people who are in the creative field can understand that. Everybody doesn't understand the journey of where you're going because they don't take it seriously or they feel like you're wasting your time, but, not realizing that God gives us all different lanes. So I don't really have that support. Like my award show, like my mom is probably going to be the only family in there. I do have a couple of uncles that may come who are my mom's brothers that my mom, she likes to push what I do. But yeah, I don't really have that support from family. So, I feel like friends have turned into family for me, and that's the journey.
So at this point in your career, have you had as I say, there's new cousins that suddenly pop up?
I have a lot of people on social media be like, "Hey, cousin Bolden," because we got the same last name, and I'm like, I don't know
We
you. They're
Bolden
like,
together. Like not
yeah, and it's like, oh, the Bolden Awards is created because of me, and I'm like, no,
Oh
it's
wow.
not.
oh,
Yeah, and they
that's
like
a new one.
yeah, they live like in Louisiana, and I'm like, where are you just coming from? I don't know nobody in Louisiana, so yeah, you did that.
That is wild. I mean, I've had that before. When we had the film that come out on Amazon Prime, I had new cousins that I didn't know I was related to, and I'm just like, okay, that I don't. What do you want from me? Like, what is it?
They quick
A
to say,
check.
"What up, cuz?" I'm like, who are you?
Who are you? I've never met you before in my life. Like, what's going on?
They said
They
cut the
do.
check. Cut the check, VA.
Greetings, relative.
They do pop up, especially when you start to become like popular and getting views, and a lot of the search engine is on you, and then suddenly it's like, "Hey, what up, cuz?" And I'm like, "I ain't never met you a day in my life."
Oh god, what is it was an interview with, on Breakfast Club, and this comedian, he was like, "Who these niggas?" That's how I would treat him. "Who these niggas?
Mm.
Don't know
I got
y'all."
one the other day.
Oh, you
Yeah.
got one today?
I got one the other day, and they were like they had their last name Bolden, and it was just like, "Do you remember me?" And I was like, "No," and they never wrote me back.
So, if any other Boldens are watching this, you may not be that Bolden, so don't get too bold in his DMs.
There's other Boldens out there.
Like, you a different set. No, we ain't rocking with you like that. Now, let's wrap this up. And you got the awards in a few weeks. What other stuff are you kind of got in the pipe outside of a vacation, of course?
Yeah, so we have Bolden magazine. I started that in 2023 as well after the award show. I wanted to keep the essence of, honoring people and what they do. I took a break because I'm actually trying to revamp it and do some more things with it. So that'll probably be coming out later this year. The Bolden Experience podcast, which I'm really super, super excited about continuing and bringing some honorees on and talking about the experience. And then, of course, I'm going to have another short film that I'm going to start working on. I haven't decided, but I'm leaning more towards a short film called Essence that I wrote. So those are things that I'm looking forward to coming up. And just, more supporting others and inspiration, all that good stuff. So I have quite a few things in the works.
You have a busy lineup right there. I tell you that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, keep working. You know what I'm saying? I've been watching you for a minute, and you are doing your thing. That is awesome. It really is.
I'm proud of you too. We got to collaborate or meet up or something.
Hey, listen.
Hey, I wanted to come in person where you were to get on here. I was like, I just
Hey,
love you.
hey, if you want me on the podcast, any of these guys on the podcast, I will drag them down there. But I will come down there. I promise you.
Yeah, let's make it happen. I'm gonna definitely keep you on the books for my next guest for the next season.
Most definitely.
So, how often do people compare you to Tyler Perry?
All the time.
And he just did. You know that.
Well, no. So honestly, no. I mean, you're basically an entire media company. I was about to say you're Oprah and Tyler in one.
I'll take it.
I mean, there's no stretch of media you haven't, or is there? Is there any stretch of media or entertainment?
You got a newspaper? I know you got a magazine, but do you have?
No, not a newspaper. I want to get behind the camera more, but I just got to build my confidence for it because I was going to start filming my own stuff. But I just want to make sure that when it's done and I'm bringing actors and people in, that it's done professionally. But that's something I want to explore. So I'm always kind of like watching the DP and seeing how they move. But yeah, if you're a black man and you got glasses and, all that, you're going to be compared to Tyler Perry, especially if you're black, period. You're right. I was like, you the next Tyler Perry. Contact Tyler Perry. He'll get you on. And I'm like, okay.
That is, how the thing is, how come I can't put my own self on, right? How come I can't just do what I'm doing and put myself in that position? Why I gotta contact somebody else or go holler at them or go be, go get on their set. You know what I'm saying?
I think because me and Victoria kind of had this mindset, and I feel like you probably had it as well. It seemed like everything changed for us when we started going, we'll do it ourselves. Like our trajectory just got like we've done things that I'm surprised that we've done. And yet, instead of just waiting on another person to get it done or waiting on somebody else to hire us to do it, just say, we'll do it ourselves. And we've kind of risen. She's won awards from it. She's done films from I'll just do it myself. When we got tired of waiting on people, our trajectory went up from there.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't agree with that because people let you down. People will tell you that they're going to do stuff or I'm going to hook you up with this person or I can help you with this. And then they find a way to just disappoint you. One of my friends was like, yeah, you got to stop doing that. You got to just open yourself up to people. And I'm like, when people prove themselves to be trustworthy, then that's when I can let down my guard. But until then, I'm just like, I'll get it done if, nobody else do it, because you just get tired of the letdown sometimes from people. And it's just like, I'll just get it done and make it work. And it's worked for me.
Right, right. I've been, I will say, double crossed. That's a good word right there.
Ooh.
Double crossed a lot of
Ooh.
times to the point where
Strong wording.
that ain't even strong. That's not even what I really want to say. Okay. But to the point where I'm just like, yeah, I don't think so. Like I'm going to do it myself, or I'm going to put you through a couple of tests to see if this is really what you want to do. This is really where you want to be. Are you really here for what we're here for? And if you're not, then you can't be a part of this. Cause
Right.
there's people who want to ride your coattails. And then now it's kind of like, for me, they see me actually doing the things that I said I was going to do. They see the team actually doing things that we said that we're going to do. And then now they want to come in, chime in, tell me what to do, tell me how to do things. I got people who've never done a film before, who's never directed a film before, and they try to tell me how to direct a film, tell me what I need to put in it, tell me how it needs to go. I'm like, when did you become an expert?
Look, I can tell you firsthand. I had somebody I used to work with. He came up to me. He's like, "Hey, I heard you do movies." I was like, "I work on productions." He's like, "Well, we can do a movie." And I was like, "We ain't doing nothing." Because I already know what it is, because I knew how the dude operated. It was going to be me shouldering the load and then him trying to like take a break or something, because that's what he do at work.
I was gonna say I went through similar things with the Bolden
I
Awards.
was just about to ask.
That like people, who want to come on when they start seeing the glam of it all, but they didn't want to be a part of the starting process of helping to build. Like if you can't help to build the blocks, for me, then you don't need to see the outcome of what I'm doing. And it's been on social media where I had to, I had to fire people, from the committee because they were like not taking the vision seriously. So all of a sudden now, we've putting this together and they're starting to see it all come together. They're like, oh yeah, I want to come and help and all that stuff. You get those type of people, but people are always watching.
So
Always.
As a guy who basically does everything, do you have people that come around and try to tell you how to do something?
Yeah. And I let them, I sit there and just listen. I'm very like studying people and I know how to categorize and put people where they're supposed to be. But yeah, you get those people. You get actors that try to come on set and try to direct your project. And I'm like, wait a minute, like stay in the act. Like I got this. Like, I like suggestions because I'm always open to people because there has been moments where people have guided me in the right way and I looked at something differently. But yeah, you get that, like we need to change this and we need to change that. That's a pet peeve of mine.
So how do you nip that in the bud?
You handle it when it happens right then and there and let them know, look, I need you to stay in your lane, I used to be the type of person that used to be scared to say stuff because I was like, oh, well, I don't want them to drop out. And then you hold it in and then next thing you know, you burst when it's time to, say what you got to say. But I respectfully let people know, I try to address stuff when it happens so we not forgetting what happened. So, yeah.
You better than me, cause I've cussed people out on set before.
She gets boldened on these folks.
Yeah, some people make you want to go there. Now, I try to keep it professional because people are always like, always watching you. But yeah, I believe in addressing stuff and asserting yourself, when it's time. Because I look at it as a team effort. I don't want my cast to just see me as the director, when we're working together, but as partnership, and working together. Because I don't like to like throw my authority, but when I need to assert myself, I'll let you know whose production it is. So.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good one right there.
Now, as a guy who does as much as you do and is basically carving your own lane for yourself, who are you inspired by?
I'm inspired by, of course, my mom. I'm inspired by, I love the Tyler Perrys, the Ryan Coogler's, inspired, different things, kind of inspire me. There's people who I work with that inspire me, with their work ethic. I'm inspired by, we said the Oprah Winfrey's, people who are of color who have built a brand for themselves. I'm inspired by all of that. I love the Denzels and, just different people. I can go on and on about who I'm inspired by because I'm inspired by different things from different people. Yeah.
So finally, I wanted to wrap this up and ask you, when it's all said and done, what would you like for your legacy to be?
My legacy to be is to, I think I've said it on here enough, two things. One, that I've been able to shine light on people who haven't, got the recognition that they deserve, the unseen, and allow them to be seen. I also want people to say that I am a man of boldness. I was never afraid to put myself out there or create or, share stories. I've been open and transparent about mine. So, allowing people to understand and remove the fear of not wanting to share their stories and testimonies, I'm pushing people to that level. And if I've done that, I feel like I've accomplished my legacy, a bold legacy.
Now, bold legacy, I like the sound of that. I think we're going to end it there. I want to thank you for taking time out to talk to us today. It has
Thank you
been very insightful and entertaining.
Thank you. I appreciate you all for having me, and we definitely will connect so y'all can come on the Bolden experience.
Absolutely. I would love that. Once again, Kevin Mumfrey with my colleagues, Victoria V.A. Jones.
What's going on?
And Karsten Ferguson. And that is a wrap. Oh, I know I've messed your name up. It was going to happen eventually. I mean, I got
It's
hers.
happened since day one. I thought it was like a running bit.